Real Life Wellness brought to you by Loblaw Pharmacy and Drugstore Pharmacy.
Hi everyone, it's Margaret Wallace-Duffy and we're here at Loblaw, and you know, spring is just around the corner, and for me that means it's spring cleaning time. Now as a mom, we're very busy and time is of the essence. The good news is you can go to your local Loblaw and it's a one-stop shop, everything under one roof. You can drop off your dry cleaning, pick up your photographs, or even consult with your local pharmacist about your home needs in terms of pharmacy. So what better person than to have with us a Loblaw pharmacist, John Baird. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
And you know, we want to talk about the needs in our home for our home medicine chest and getting organized and making sure we're prepared. What do you suggest?
Sure. You need to revisit your medicine cabinet quite often, and some of the things you'll look for in there is expired medications. You don't want to take those. You're going to discard any old medications that you don't use anymore. The products that aren't specifically prescribed for you shouldn't be there. As well, you want to keep things in their original packaging so you'll have the expiry date. People, especially seniors, will transfer multiple medications into a once-a-day convenience pack, and you'll want to get rid of the products that they don't use and that are expired, and stock up on the things that you do need.
Now, speaking of expired medications, this is a big issue. What do we do with expired medications?
Package them up, bring them back into your drugstore pharmacy or your Loblaw pharmacy, and we'll look after them at that point. Then you can refill your prescriptions and pick up the new products you need.
Well, when we're talking about other non-prescription products, what things do you suggest people have in their medicine chest to keep us safe?
Things you would regularly want stock of is Band-Aids, an antibiotic ointment, disinfectant like peroxide, some eye ear drops, some antihistamines, and something for pain and fever like an acetaminophen or an ibuprofen.
Well, you know what, this is great information, and I know as a mom it's fantastic to have somebody like John that you can consult with to make sure that our medicine chests are safe and full of what we need for those nights when we really need it. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So now that we know about safety in medication, how are we going to organize it? Well, what better person than Karen Senchich, professional organizer, to help us figure out storage solutions. Welcome, Karen.
Thanks for having me today, Margaret.
Okay, so now, how are we going to get our medicine chest organized, and does it take much time?
It doesn't take much time. All in all, it only takes about a half an hour. Every family should have an inventory list of the things that they need, that they use all the time, and the things that they want to replenish. And then the first step is to gather everything that you have, find out what you can still use, what is fresh and potent, find out what's expired and has to go. But to do that, first of all, you've got to find it all. Take it from all those little hiding places.
Well, you know, and as a mom, we know firsthand, whether it's in your kitchen cupboard, in your bathroom, in your purse, your travel bag, we need to know where everything is.
Exactly.
And then what do we do?
Well, the first step then is that you evaluate. You take everything and you study it and you say, who was this originally purchased for? Do they still use it? Is it still, you know, it hasn't expired and it's still something that someone's going to use?
Right.
And then you want to inspect things like this tube. You want to make sure it's not rusty or punctured and that the lid is tightly capped.
That's really important, yes. Then what?
Okay, so you've evaluated, then you're going to eliminate all the expired things, things that you're not using anymore because someone doesn't need them, and you're going to be doing this all on a checklist.
Right, okay. And then now that we've got organized, what are we going to put it in? That's always the biggest challenge for me. What do we put things in?
Step number 3 is to containerize. So we have 2 different containers here, one that is used for first aid supplies and one that's used for medicines.
Right, and of course these are easily available anywhere, like in Loblaw. They're different sizes. And of course, what about storing things in a bathroom? Is there concerns about that?
There are. Bathroom generally is not the best place to store things. The humidity is too high and someone may be using the washroom.
Right.
So what I recommend, having separate containers like this, you can store them somewhere just like this in the kitchen cupboard, or even better, high up in the linen closet, away from little hands. You can even install a lock on the door for increased child safety.
Well, and we all have woken, any parent can relate to being woken up in the middle of the night with a sick child, and you're scrambling trying to find your medications and where are they. So you're right, having them organized in a safe place that's accessible is really, really important. Any other tips for families?
Well, one that I use personally is that I keep a list of all the medications that everyone in the family uses, so that I know that they know what I'm taking, I know what they're taking. This is important for parents, children, and the kids that are away at college.
Well, and you know what? With aging parents, I know firsthand you want to be able to help them, and as a mom as well. These are great tips. Thank you so much for coming and helping us figure out how we're going to organize our medicine chest.
Thank you for having me.
Now, if you have any more questions about this segment or just general health and wellness questions, don't hesitate to drop me a line at Margaret@reallife on cts.com.